Today's video, what I wanted to do is talk you through the 7 things that my husband and I did when we were in £36,000 worth of debt. These are the 7 things that we did in order to get ourselves out of debt, get ourselves back on track in the area of our finances, and get ourselves closer to achieving our goal and our dream of financial independence. So if you're interested in hearing those 7 steps, the 7 things that we did in order to get out of debt, then please do stay tuned, like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and I'll get right into those 7 things. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Tolly Frimpong, and on this channel I document and share my journey to financial freedom and financial independence with you. So in today's video, what I wanted to do is talk to you about the 7 things that we actually did when we found ourselves in £36,000 worth of debt. These are the 7 things that we did basically to get ourselves out of debt, get ourselves back on track in the area of our finances, and get us closer to achieving our dream and our desired goal of financial independence and financial freedom. So the first thing that we had to do is acknowledge that we had a problem. Like, I know it seems like a duh thing to say, but that was literally the first step that we had to take. We had to acknowledge that there was an issue. We had to actually sit down and actually take stock of how much debt we had managed to get ourselves into. So that's the first step, and that's the first thing that I would advise anyone do. If you're in debt, you're drowning in debt, overwhelmed by debt, is really just stop hiding from it, stop running from your situation. Put on your big girl pants and literally face your situation head on. So in our case and in our situation, it was £36,000 worth, and we actually came to that total when we sat down and went through how much debt we had acquired. So we actually listed it from the smallest to the largest amount and totaled it all up. And once you do that, you'll realize, oh my gosh, it's actually a lot of debt that needs to be paid off. So basically that's what I would advise you do, is acknowledge how much debt you have, take stock of how much debt you have, and then once you know what you're dealing with, you can actually deal with it. If you don't know what the situation actually is, you don't know what the total amount is, you've got like debt coming in out of your ears and your nose, you don't actually know where all that debt's coming from, you don't know the total amount, it's going to be very hard to actually do anything about it. So that's the first thing. Find out how much debt you have, acknowledge it, list the debt that you have, list it in order from smallest to largest, and make a plan as to how you're going to tackle that debt. So once you've actually acknowledged that there's an issue, you know that you're in a lot of debt and you want to get out of it, the second thing you need to do is create a budget. That's the second thing that we did. We actually had to sit down and really take stock of how much money was coming in and how much money was going out of our accounts on a weekly and monthly basis. So literally create a budget, work out how much income is coming in from your different income sources, and then make a plan. Create a budget, smart people budget, literally. So list your expenses and your income on a spreadsheet, or if you want to do it on pen and paper. I actually like traditional pen and paper. My husband's always cussing me for it, just like 2020, why are you still using pen and paper? But that's the method I prefer. But if you want to use your phone, an Excel spreadsheet, however you want to do it, just log your income and expenditure, work out how much money is coming in and how much money is going out on a daily or weekly or monthly basis, however you get paid, and create a zero-based budget. So if you're not familiar with what a zero-based budget is, it's when you basically give every single penny that you earn, every penny of income, an assignment. Literally give every penny you earn an assignment, give it a task and a job to do. So for example, if you get paid £1,000 a month, make sure that at the end of that budget, the balance is 0. So the closing balance needs to be 0. That way every single penny that comes in and out of your account is accounted for. And in that way, you're able to really see how much money you have left. So once you've paid all your bills, your utility bills, etc., the money that you have left over, give it the assignment of paying off debt. And then once you do that, you'll find you have a lot more money and more wiggle room, because when you don't have a budget and you don't keep track of your income and expenditure, what you find is money just slips through your finger. Money needs to be given an assignment, it needs to be given a job to do. And once you give it that job to do, it will do the job. But if you don't, that money just literally just goes missing and you're like, oh my gosh, where's all my money gone? So that was the second thing that we actually really had to do, is we had to create a budget, apply the zero-based budgeting method, and give every single penny that we had coming into our accounts an assignment to do. So the first thing that we did on our debt-free journey was look for ways to reduce our expenses. So we had to find ways to streamline our expenses. So one of the things that we did, for example, was online food shopping. I used to order my food on Tesco and have it delivered to me on a weekly basis. And we used to pay about £10 a month just for that service alone. And then obviously Tesco is quite pricey in terms of groceries anyway. So when we were looking at ways to cut back on our budget and find money to put towards the debt, one of the things I thought about doing was switching from shopping at Tesco to shopping at Aldi. Like, I've known about Aldi for a long time. I know people that shop there, but I've always been a bit bougie, and I'm like, I can't shop in Aldi, that's for poor people, it's a cheap shop. And I just thought cheap shop means cheap food and cheap quality, and I wasn't prepared to eat there. But when you've got £36,000 worth of debt and you're trying to get out of debt, you will go to places like Aldi and shop for food. And funnily enough, since shopping there, we haven't gone back to Tesco. We still shop at Aldi. The food is more than adequate. It's actually decent. There's a few things that I wouldn't buy from Aldi, but overall, most of our food actually comes from Aldi and the market. Just by moving from Tesco online food shop to Aldi and the market, we were able to take £100 off of our food shopping budget every month. So that was £100 that we were able to free up in order to pay off debt. So that's just one thing that we did in order to find extra money in our budget to put towards debt. And I'm sure there's things that you could think of too that you can do, areas that you can make cutbacks on in your budgets. Another thing that you could do, for example, is look at your subscriptions. How many different things are you subscribed to? Do you have Amazon Prime, Netflix, Sky, all these things? Do you actually need to have subscriptions for all these things? Because are there things that you're even subscribed to that you don't even realize you're still paying for and you don't even use? So just look at your expenses and just look at ways that you can really reduce them. Obviously, things like your mortgage, for example, that can't be changed. My mortgage amount, I have to pay it. The bank wants their money regardless of whether I'm trying to pay off debt or not. So things like that, obviously fixed costs, there's nothing you could do about that. But the variable costs, like I mentioned, find ways to reduce them just by making those sacrifices, cutting back on some of the extra luxuries. Maybe not buy the coffee every single day, maybe reduce it from once a day to once a week, or if it's twice a day, reduce it to once a day. You obviously know your budget, you know the areas where you're overspending and ways you can make savings. So wherever you can make a saving, make that saving and put it towards your debt, and you'll find you clear that debt a lot quicker and a lot sooner. So another thing that we did in order to get out of debt was finding ways to generate additional income. That's a really big one. That's a really good way to get out of debt quicker. Find ways to make extra money. So whether it's freelancing, whether it's working evening shift, whether it's taking overtime at work, whether it's finding a side hustle, whether it's selling stuff from around your house to make extra income, whatever you can do, whatever your hand finds to do, like the Bible says, do it with all your might. Whatever you can find to do to make extra money on the side, that's legal obviously. Find those ways of making extra money and put that money towards clearing off your debt, and you'll find that you'll get out of debt a lot sooner. So once you've reduced your expenses, find ways to increase your income and you'll get out of debt a lot quicker. Practice delayed gratification. So that's one of the things that got us into a lot of financial trouble in the first place. It was spending money that we didn't have and living beyond our means. So it's not just everything you want to buy, you just buy it willy-nilly when you feel like it. What we actually had to do is really be disciplined and really practice some self-denial and not just buy things on impulse or when we feel like buying it, but just really saving up for the things that I really want to buy and taking my time to buy it, rather than just getting paid at the end of the month and buying these things and then having to kind of make up for it later on during the month because the money's not adding up. Once we had a budget and we started planning properly for our money, we were able to now start teaching ourselves these disciplines of delayed gratification and saving up towards things that we really wanted to buy, rather than just buying it because the money's there and then all the other things kind of work itself out later. It's like being really intentional, being really disciplined, and actually knowing what I really want versus what I feel like I want right now, kind of thing. So delayed gratification really helped us a lot on our debt-free journey, and it's something that we still take with us even till this day. Obviously, I'm not perfect, and there are times when I might buy things on impulse, but generally speaking, we're really good now with practicing delayed gratification and actually considering the purchases that we make and not just buying everything that we want to buy. In the same way, I guess, with our children, we don't just let them have everything that they want when they want it. We have to say no to them sometimes. So I think, yeah, delayed gratification really helped us a lot on our debt-free journey and helped us get out of debt. So it's something that I would definitely recommend to anybody out there, and it's a great discipline I think to have in this generation where everything is just now, I want it now. Having to just have that patience and say, no, I'm gonna wait this one out. It's a really good discipline I think to cultivate and develop, and it's one that I've definitely been working on, and it's definitely helped us a lot and been able to see the fruits of it in our finances till this day. So the next thing that we did, which I really think helped us a lot on our debt-free journey, is knowing when to say no. Know when to say no and don't be too available. It's not everywhere people tell you to go to that you have to go. You need to really count the cost of things before just saying yes. Like, don't feel like, oh, I need to go because if I don't go, I'm going to be left out. Or yeah, that FOMO thing is so real. Fear of missing out will really get you into trouble. Don't allow it to get you into trouble. Just because people tell you to come places, or you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be the only person not there, don't go if it means that it's going to set you back financially, if it's going to deter you from your debt-free goal. So focus on your debt-free goal, keep that at your forefront. And yeah, I'm not saying don't go out, don't enjoy life. Of course, go out and enjoy life, but know when to say no. Like, if it's not within your budget, if you can't afford it, or it's overstretching you, or if it means that you going to that trip is going to take from the money you've set aside to pay off your debt, then just say no. Just say no, and just remember your end goal. Remember what you're trying to achieve. Don't be a people pleaser either. Don't just do things because you don't want to look bad in other people's eyes, or you don't want to be left out, or you don't want people to say, oh, this person flopped me, or I didn't do this for that person. Know your goals, know where you're trying to get to. You're trying to get ahead financially, you're trying to get out of debt, you're trying to secure your financial future. So don't let anything deter you from your goal. So I would say focus on that goal, and yeah, just stay fixed on what you're trying to achieve and where you're trying to get to. And you'll be able to get there just by staying focused on your debt-free goal. My mum used to always say it to us when we were younger, like, don't be too available, don't be too available. It's not everywhere that people tell you to go, you should go. Don't watch my Nigerian accent, it needs a lot of work. But literally, she used to say that to us all the time when we were younger, like, don't be too available. And it's so true. It's only as I'm an adult now, I'm starting to really appreciate and understand what she meant when she was saying that. Don't be too available, and know where to say no. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. If you can't do something, don't feel obliged to say yes just to make somebody else happy and just to not look bad in somebody else's eyes, or, you know, not have them say something bad about you. If you can't afford to do it and it's not within your means to do so, you're trying to get out of debt and you're trying to get ahead financially. If you going to this event or you saying yes to this thing means that it's going to derail or stop you from achieving your financial goal, then just say no. There's nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, your people are your people, your friends are your friends, and your family are your family. If they really love and they care for you, then they're going to understand what it is you're trying to do. You're on a mission at the end of the day. You're on a mission and you have a goal that you're working towards. So anything that's going to derail you from achieving that goal and from focusing on your mission, you need to abort. You need to abort it, move on from it, set it aside and stay focused on where you're trying to get to, and you will be able to get there. But if you, every single time you're going this way, you're trying to get here, and somebody's pulling you that way, you're never going to get to your destination because you're always being swayed left and right. Whereas if you have tunnel vision, you have focus on where you're trying to get to, you'll get there. That's definitely something that helps us a lot on our journey. It was knowing when to say no. Literally, when I went on that holiday, and I used my credit card to pay for it, used the credit card to pay for the holiday, pay for the hotel, pay for my spending money. That was literally, when we came back from that trip, that was the eye-opener. That's when the penny dropped and I was like, nah, this is ridiculous. I need to just say no next time. Why am I now bending over backwards, trying to please people, putting myself in all this debt just because I didn't want to let anybody down? It doesn't actually make sense, and it's not something that I'm going to ever do again, to be honest. Like, from now on, moving forward, and since that time, to be fair, moving forward, we've just learned how to say no. And to be fair, I still have friends and I still have family, so it hasn't been that bad in doing so. So it's something I'll definitely advise and recommend you guys to do. Know when to say no. And the last thing that really helped us a lot is something that my husband introduced to me, and it's the concept of saving what you save. So save what you save. What that basically means is any money that you save it. Or in your case, and what we did in our case, was take that money and put it towards debt. So I'll give you an example just to explain the point a bit further. For example, let's say you usually spend £2 on milk at the supermarket, and you go there today and it's no longer £2, it's on offer for 50p. That means you saved yourself £1.50. So rather than just thinking, oh, you know, that £1.50 just goes on something else, take that £1.50 and put it towards your debt. And just by saving what you save, you'll find that you're finding money like that you didn't even budget for, you didn't expect, and that money goes straight towards paying off your debt, and it will help you get to your debt-free goal a lot quicker. So the first thing we had to do is acknowledge that we had a problem, actually work out how much debt we actually were in, see how much it was, and see that we had a big mountain to climb, but we were only going to be able to climb it by being intentional. The second thing we had to do was create a budget. Create a budget, work out exactly how much money was coming in on a daily, weekly and monthly basis, and work out how much money was going out. Once we worked out how much money we had coming in and going out, we then had to create a zero-based budget off of the back of that. So budget for every single penny and every pound that came in and out of our account was given an assignment. No money was left without being given a job and a purpose to achieve. So that was the second thing. The third thing that we had to do was find ways to reduce our expenses, find ways to cut back on our expenses, find ways to reduce our outgoing. The fourth thing that we had to do was find ways to increase our income. So once we reduced our expenses, found ways to make extra money which we could throw at the debt and attack the debt. The fifth thing that we had to do was practice delayed gratification, not just shop on impulse. Stop the impulse purchasing. Take time to consider purchases. If there was things that we really wanted to buy and things that we really needed to buy, we had to take our time, save up towards it, and then make that purchase in a calculated and a well constructed and thought out way. So there was no more just impulse buying things at random because we felt like it. We had to really count the cost and consider the cost of every single purchase that we made. The next thing which really helped us on our debt-free journey was knowing when to say no. We had to learn how to say no to things. If it wasn't within our budget, if it wasn't within our financial plans, we had to just say no to it and say no with our chest and keep it moving. The final thing that we did was saved what we saved. So every single penny that we were able to save, we took that money and put it towards paying off our debt. So those were the 7 things that we did on our debt-free journey to really help us get out of debt within a short time frame. But that's literally it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you do like this content, you found it interesting, engaging, insightful, please do like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys on my next video. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.